Okay, recording in progress. Hi, Britt.
Hi, Kara. Good morning.
Morning. So, welcome, Blue Lotus Collective members. Brittany and I are really inspired to offer these weekly connective updates. And, we're kind of riffing on some different names, but what this is basically we want to share the process with you that we go through basically, well, daily with each other, but we're going to just make this weekly. And it's an opportunity that we connect in and we share what is kind of coming up in our own human journey, as well as what we're seeing with people that we're working with and what we're witnessing also in the collective. So we want to bring this conversation weekly to this collective, to the forum, so that, well, really, so you can understand maybe on a zoomed out perspective what's going on so you don't feel so alone. Because chances are, if we're feeling it and we witness it in other people, then you're all feeling it too. So we might call this tea and Tuesday tea, or chats and cards, or whatever, or coffee and cards.
Something in that alignment.
Something. Anyway, welcome. Okay, that's my part.
Welcome. We're so grateful that you're here in the forum as we're bridging and building this community together. And as Kara said, we oftentimes, actually, not oftentimes, daily, we have a beautiful connection of communication and what is going on. And as Kara said, in that relation to feeling alone, I actually think this is really good to speak into, Kara, because oftentimes when we are processing, it can feel extremely lonely. And this whole community hub is about bridging that within our community and speaking to that within the connections with one another. And the more that we open to that, we start to witness, oh, hey, we're not riding this on our own. We are experiencing this together. And it helps to process with more grace and ease when we can communicate what is happening and witness that we're not alone.
Exactly, which is the collective, right? Like that's the whole idea of like Blue Lotus as a collective of like
Yes.
we're all in this together and we all rise together, and that there's that one quote, and I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's like, we don't, basically like ascend until everybody ascends, so it's like we're all in this together, and it's so important for us to support each other along the way and share stories. And I think that that's how we come into true aspects of like healing within and coming within, is like when we can relate to other people's human journey, and
Yes.
it's like it's palpable, we understand it, rather than trying to connect to maybe spiritual concepts that don't necessarily like land in our body. So
Yes.
yeah.
It's
So I
beautiful.
want to just bring, because we've already spoke today,
Yeah.
and we, because we were doing our daily check-in and I was really fired up. And so I think
And
that
like good fire.
good fire. And so we decided that we'll maybe share a little bit about that. And I'll preface it with as we're building our Blue Lotus Collective, I'm very curious on how other people like us who want to support people's healing and who want to hold space for people as they come home to themselves, how they do it, and as we know, there's a lot of algorithms and there's a lot of like shadow banning and a lot of manipulation in our social media platforms, but that's also where we all go to connect and to learn, essentially. And so last evening I was on a master class with a super well-known, we'll call him an influencer, and I was sharing with Britt that I woke up this morning feeling really defeated because I felt like, well, we're doing it all wrong. Like we don't have it figured out. And the main takeaway message that I received from this person was that if you're not using AI, artificial intelligence, or if you're not using chat GBT, then you're going to be left behind in this healing, influencer, we'll call it, world. And so anyway, I was sharing it with Britt, and I was really upset because I thought, well, like we're basically screwed then, because I know that Brittany and I both have a belief that it doesn't feel right to connect to anything that is labeled artificial. Like it just doesn't align with who we are as people. And so, yeah, we started talking about that. So do you want to share, like, I can't remember what you said to me, but whatever it was, you basically talked me off the ledge, which was good because I was ready to like burn everything down again, thinking that we were
Which, by
done.
the way, Carrie did a huge burn the other day. So
Yeah, I did.
I'm sure the sisters and brothers can relate. When we do a big clearing, we know what happens. So, touching into that first and foremost. So, Kara and I have been aligning so much with our internal compass and discernment. And this was a big one because this is in part where I reflected back to you is like, does that feel true to you? And when Kara sung in her body, she's like, well, no, right? In your fire, you're like, nothing at all feels good in that. But like, we don't want to be left behind.
Right.
Ah, that's an interesting one. I'm like, ping, ping, because
Yeah.
that coherence, right?
For
Before,
me, always. Yeah.
always. And I
Yeah.
just didn't even put that together this morning.
Yeah.
These are where these chats are going to get great.
Yeah.
So, the beautiful connection to that and what we're really striving within this community and collective, and I'm just going to bridge to this. You're going to see I'm going to kind of weave it all together as always. We are stepping into discernment and what discernment looks like. Within the energetics of information, we all have access to the same waves of consciousness, same energy imprints. We can look at that in history books, however it's coming through right in our, what is this called again? Chats GBT?
Yeah. I
Right?
was calling it like chats bullshit, but yeah,
Okay, I
chats
like that. Chats
GBT.
BS. I'm streaming into that because first off, I didn't even learn about that until Kara, had communicated it to me. And what's important to that is if we're still externalizing, then we're defeating coming back into our inner compass on what our soul's purpose is being here. We're continuing to penetrate that same wound of looking to an external source for our validation, for our work, for our definition of self, the masks that we wear. You get the idea of it.
Hmm.
And I feel that this is one of our biggest, I don't even like the word lessons, but what we're coming here to, what would be a good
Awaken,
word for that, Kara?
awaken to, like awaken, like, like
Yeah.
wake up to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's we can see where that continues to operate. And actually there was that little quote, Kara, remember I read to you this morning about the
Hmm.
intelligence of a computer. And we might even like pop that, in a little bottom thing. But
Yeah.
basically it's like the computer is going to continue to re-evolve itself. So whatever we're feeding, if we start redirecting what we're feeding and we come back into self, that energy source that has always been sucking that life force, it's going to continue to evolve and grow and expand to outwit the intelligence of the source itself to continue to feed its charge.
Right.
And this is where, so for those of us who understand the energy of the matrix system, you're still feeding that source. I think we all need to feel into that for a moment. And this is where it's important to get subconsciously aware, like, where is that coming from in me?
Mm.
Is that coming from the egoic coherence or is that coming from my true source?
Hmm.
Right? At the end of it, it's all about redirecting in. And if we're still externalizing out, what are the reasons for that? What is
Totally.
the intention, right? If the intention is, oh, well, I want to be this huge influencer and I want a million viewers, well, then sure, that's great. That's the path you choose. But not all of us are choosing that path.
Mm.
And for those of us who are choosing to come into that coherence within ourselves, it's really challenging right now
Yeah.
in that.
100%. And it's funny because when you said, like, what are we feeding? And I mean, whether it's chat BS or it's like even us like Googling or reaching out for people, like it's like that constant external seeking for information. And it's like we're forgetting the intelligence of the body system, of the higher mind, of the DNA, of the bones, of the cells, of the like lineage within us, like this the spirit body. So I mean, like we are a computer. Like
Yeah.
this vessel is a computer. And we've never been taught that, our everything in our society and our conditioning has always been like somebody else has the answer for you and there is an authority figure that knows the way. So I mean, there's no blame, and like, I mean, I totally understand where that aspect of me comes from, because it's like
Mhm.
we've all been like inundated with that information and that message since we were children, and for lifetimes. And so I think that, what we're talking about right now is a real revolutionary idea, because it means that we have to learn to listen to our bodies, which,
Yeah.
you know, it takes practice, takes work. We need to learn how to differentiate between like the hive mind or the collective, this like
Yeah.
web that we've all been woven into, to like really what our higher mind is telling us, like how to lead from the heart rather than the ego. So, I mean, there's so many layered nuances with it. And I feel like it can be really big and intimidating, but it doesn't have to be, right? Like it's really just about choosing what path you want to take. And
Yes.
this is what I was sharing, because after I spoke with you, then I got really fired up more and went on to Instagram and did a video. But
I
it's
have to
like,
watch.
it was like, we really are at a crossroads,
Mhm.
and we're at a crossroads of artificial intelligence or organic intelligence. And not everybody's going to choose the same way. And that's totally fine. Like, I have zero expectation of anybody. I just want to be able to tune into what is right for me
Bingo.
and what I want to share, which is organic intelligence. And yeah, so I feel like there is that crossroads. And I feel like there's that, you were speaking to this morning. It's like the one, like artificial intelligence or external seeking and external validation and all of this stuff that's outside of us, like keeps us cycling in a loop where it's never enough. We never can know enough. We're always seeking, we always need guidance. Whereas the other path of organic intelligence is like the loop is internal, right? Like we're creating a closed loop within. So it's like we might cycle through the same lessons as we're
Mhm.
going to anyway, but like we're going to keep coming back to the organic intelligence within of our own self rather than artificial, which feels out there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We spoke to that too this morning. I was bringing up with Theravada, the Buddhism.
Right.
When I was saying to Carrie, how like this, out of all the things I've studied, I always love coming back to this because it just brings you back internal, right? It
Mm-hmm.
brings you back into that inner compass. And I was expressing, within this AI age, and we all use it. Like, this is the thing. It's important to look at aspects of it because everything has light. I truly do believe that to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if I believe that anymore,
I know we
Kara,
talked
with
about
what
that the other
we
day,
did.
right?
I actually don't know about that. So
Right.
let's not quote that in this
Okay.
moment because these are the things, right, that Kara and I want to start to speak to and really get all of your feels. But coming back into that space of, these Buddhas, for example, that have reached where they're literally become light. You can look this up, right? And they're in the mountains and they're holding that light. These Buddhas are not on social platforms, posting all of their teachings. You find them by climbing up into the mountains
Mm-hmm.
and following that inner call.
Mm-hmm.
And with that internal wisdom, I know one thing I've learned, and I don't care, I'm pretty sure this is aligned for you too. It's like those really deep, deep, true messages that we receive in that internal guidance, you don't find that necessarily out on social platforms.
No.
Where AI can be very convincing
Mm-hmm.
is because it plays on truths
And
that
pain
comes
and pain.
and pain and comes
Mm-hmm.
through those messages. So this is part of what we're talking about in relation to discernment. How do we learn discernment
Mm-hmm.
if we don't even know how to truly listen to our own inner voice?
Right.
How do we know how to follow that line that is, I call them footsteps in the dark,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you can't see them, you don't have a trace, you don't see it on socials, but it leads to that Buddha
Right.
of enlightenment. Do you know what
Right.
I'm saying?
100%. Well, it's fascinating too, because if I think about like, so I'm on this webinar last night and I'm listening, and as soon as this was mentioned, like about how to basically get clients.
Right.
So it was like,
Right.
hook them in with like a pain point, and convince them that you're the authority. Okay, great. So like it's like another sales package dressed up in spirituality. Okay, fine. But when, I mean, I've heard this many times before from different coaches and mindset coaches, and it's all the same though. But when he mentioned using chat gp jack what a jack When he
Jack.
mentioned using chat GBT like every day for a post and how he demonstrated it, everything in my body was like shut down. I almost left the meeting because I
Right.
was like, no. But then I noticed, so my body told me right away, like, no, I don't resonate with that. But then my ego, because he mentioned you're going to be left behind, this is the only way you can make money. He brought in a scare tactic about how the world is about to undergo huge change. And if we don't have money, we're going to be fucked, basically. So there was all of this fear. So then I could see I was bypassing myself again. I was going to
Right.
bypass my innate feeling on
Right.
this isn't for me. And if it's okay if it's for you, but it's not for me, like whatever. I was honestly this morning, I was like, well, that's it. I'm gonna do this because I don't want to be left behind and I don't want to miss out. I don't want to not bring in abundance, all of these things. It put me into a scarcity mindset. And I caught myself, but it was like I also witnessed the self-betrayal that almost happened because
Huge, but
it was,
that's a huge key right there, self-betrayal.
yeah,
Because how many of us have betrayed our intuition?
time and time again. I
I
mean,
was
I know
like,
I
I
have.
don't, same, like this is what we've really been working, especially within ourselves the last, what, 3 years?
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
in relation to channel and what we're bringing through. And this is the thing too with discernment. It's like there are all different types of forces
Yeah.
external, guides, guardians, angels. And this is another thing that we probably should do a chat to, because it's again like what are you connecting to
Right.
when you are channeling through? I know in the beginning, when you first start to have energy come in, it's just
Mm-hmm.
exciting, right? So it's like, what am I connecting to? But then you're not necessarily discerning the channel.
Mm-hmm.
It could feel true, but then the body's rejecting it, just like Kara said. So this integrates in so many different areas of our
Right.
lives.
And it's so nuanced. Like that's the thing. The body, the intuition, the internal discernment, the connecting to like your inner path, like it's quiet, it's subtle. And if you're really busy, like in an overactive nervous system or your mind is going off, like it will, it'll be hard to feel like you have
Yeah.
to get really intentionally quiet with yourself and pause before you make any decisions, basically, right? Like, because
Yeah.
you have to be able to like, okay, like, is this a yes in my body or is this a no in my body?
And to make sure it's not coming from a triggered trauma response.
Right.
Because sometimes our body, so if it's something that has created that pain, of course it's going to create that reject frequency in the body in the field because it
Yeah.
needs to be looked at, right? So this is where the discernment piece, it really takes time to weave in so you can fully come into that trust within self. And I know even for Kara and I, we're still working into that. I recently sent something to Kara that there was a lot of truth in it. And then she right away is like, B, that's AI galore, basically.
Mhm.
And then when I really started to look at it, I was like, oh shit, like, holy, it is.
Well, because it looks
But
so real. This is
it
the thing.
looks bingo. But that's the thing, right? Just because it looks
Right.
real doesn't
Right.
mean it's a holographic
Right.
imprint.
Right.
And this is part, actually, thank you for this because this is good to speak into. Many of us who are here in this collective, we're really working on reestablishing and reconnecting to that organic imprint. And part of discernment is learning what is inorganic, learning what has been imprinted in to create distortion, to create confusion, to create manipulation,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep us bound into these cycles.
Yeah.
And this is where it is, I think our collective is waking up to so much because it's like, I don't, I say this to Kara every day, like, I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know who to trust.
Exactly.
And this is where we're coming into within discernment. I'd love to hear from our group, this
I know,
collective
right?
group here, this community, like how many of you are feeling this way?
Right. So much so.
Even with influencers or people that you once were like, oh yeah, where now you're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree. I
Yeah.
think that that's a great idea. And we should get a little chat going within this space too, because
Mhm.
like we're all being marketed all day long. Like that's just the reality of the world we live in, right?
Soul
So it's
sold.
like um so how, yeah, like how do you discern how, or do people, are you even aware of it yet? Like, are people even aware that there's like this artificial reality that we've been in for a long time? Like, it's an inverted reality filled with lies and untruths and,
Hmm.
not nice energy. So, like how do you know when it is that, and how do you know when it's not that? And, so I feel like, when we talked about putting on this workshop for discernment and really learning how to connect in with the body, essentially.
Yes.
Because for me, I don't know how it comes for you, B, but it's like if I'm if I'm in a situation and something doesn't feel right, then it's a visceral feeling for me. And I don't know, I'm sure some people are going to have other ways. Like it could, I don't know, that maybe it's directed or related to the clairs, but like for me, it's like I can feel my body like
Yes.
go like this. And
Yeah.
so, but I think for so long, or I know for so long, I just overrode that. It's like, oh,
Right.
well, that's crazy. This person is telling me it's totally fine. So it must be fine,
Mhm.
So I think
Right.
that that's what we're getting at, is like getting to that place where, like, who's telling the truth, who isn't. It's
Right.
like, just ask ourselves, like, who's real, who isn't. Like, who do you feel good around?
Right.
And who can you trust? Yourself. Like learning to be able to trust yourself, so that when you're trusting yourself,
Bingo.
right, then
Yeah.
it's like, that you're only going to be around people, places, experiences, and things that feel good. And if you can't trust yourself, then that's a whole other invitation to come into that inner realm of awareness.
So just like you spoke to, part of the workshop is helping you reconnect to how your discernment comes through your body,
Mm-hmm.
in essence. So like Kara expressed, I know for me, it instantly starts at my stomach.
Okay.
It's like I instantly get this, that feeling
Oh,
of
like a
like
pit.
the
Yeah, the
gut drop.
sinking
And
pit.
then, which is interesting because where I've had to really work my whole journey was the solar plexus.
Yeah.
So it was like layers and layers and layers of where I bypassed that
Right.
gut intuition. And I know many empaths hold that coherence there as well. So that might relate to, for many. Um, and like Kara expressed, this is where it's almost unveiling as well, the beliefs that we've kept that have kept us from that discernment,
Mm-hmm.
or where we have externalized and given that power struggle to external forces to bypass our
Mm-hmm.
intuition and our inner knowing, right? There's
Yeah.
many variables to that, and how to learn to trust yourself, like you
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And it's so I want to just go back to this for a second too, because part of this thing last night too. So, I mean, we know that we're being inundated with, like, everybody has a solution for your problem. And that is essentially what this man was saying last night. He's like, does it, like, you don't have to have credentials. You don't have to have, like, basically, you don't have to have any experience whatsoever, but you have the ability to support somebody through a crisis. So let's go on to Chat GBT. Let's create that crisis, whatever it is, and let Chat GBT tell you how to hook your potential client. Okay, so fine, great. Right away, that's manipulation to me, because not everybody has done enough inner work to actually be able to hold space for other people's transformation. I know that I'm still doing so much inner work all the time so that I can sit in people's pain and darkness and actually help the
Hold.
situation, right?
Yeah.
So now we've got all these people all over the internet offering their services for whatever you need, anything that you need. And so we have a lot of people who haven't necessarily come into integration or embodiment practices themselves, who have even, touched the depths of their own darkness.
You hold that one sec. I'm
Yeah.
going to take off the monitor.
Oh, the Luca monitor.
Luca doesn't like that.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
that's
What's happening? There we go.
that's funny. Anyway, so what I was going to say is that, and the
Mamahood.
message that I got was about, like, how can you make the most amount of money
Right.
selling, your
Right.
solution for people's pain. So coming back to, like, what I shared today on Instagram after our conversation, I shared that like the preface was, how can you get rich off people's pain? And it's like, it's what is happening,
Right.
And so I had the only reply that I had to all of these rants was one person said, "What's wrong with being rich?" And it was like, there is nothing wrong with being rich. There is nothing wrong with money.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with prosperity and abundance.
Yeah.
The issue I have is that your motivating force why you want to help
Right.
people? Or do you want
Right.
to help people because you want humanity and consciousness to rise so we can all be free? We're not free till we're all free. So if you
Right.
want to keep somebody in their pain points so they keep coming back to you and so you can squeeze every ounce of money. This guy suggested for his coaching, get a credit card so you can sign up for my coaching. It's $5,000 so I can teach you how to do this. It's like, so you want me to go
Right.
into debt on a credit card
Right.
so that I can take this program. And then that is what going to be the message that I'm relaying to the people who want to work with me. Like I
Yes.
just was like, anyway, so the whole thing was though, like, well, what's wrong with money? Nothing is wrong.
Nothing.
Money is inherently, it's neutral. It's what
Yeah.
we choose to do with it. It's what it's like we've said before. It's like if we're creating from a place of scarcity of, oh shit, I need to make money. If I create from that place, it's crickets. It's
Yeah.
crickets. If I'm
What's the
creating,
intention?
right, if my intention is that I want to actually support people and help people find freedom and inner peace and be that Buddha, walking that path, then yeah,
I feel you with that, right? It's
yeah.
again like that perpetual cycle that we're, in essence, many of us are working to break down.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're that intelligence of the computer. It's just finding new ways to manipulate it.
Yeah.
You touched on something most recently in one of the videos
Mm-hmm.
or our chats. I can't recall. We connect in a lot. Basically, you spoke to, in essence, with homeopathy
Oh
and how
yeah.
like your homeopathy teachers, they made a statement, right, about like basically, I want you to come when you're feeling like you need to heal,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to see you again.
Exactly.
And this is exactly the awareness. So, okay, I'm going to speak to this as well within discernment. So, this is a key point where you're going to know the healer's intentions, who you're connecting with. Because if you're connecting in with the healer and they're like, okay, you're going to book back in for a week or two, that right there is your warning signs.
I think so too.
I know for myself and Kara, when people, especially after a treatment, because you feel like, woo, this energetic high, I feel light, I feel free. And they say, like, when do I book in again? And I always say, go integrate and then we'll connect in. And some
Yeah.
people, it's not a year, it's a year later. Some people,
Exactly.
it's a week later.
Or you
Some
don't even hear
people,
from
I
them
don't
again
see you
ever.
again. And I
Exactly.
hear that your life's doing amazing, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's this is where discernment can come in, especially in what is organic
Mm-hmm.
and inorganic within this spiritual community, because that's what
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
And I know for myself and Kara and that homeopathy teacher, like I love that where it's like, I don't want to see you again. It's the same I know with my clients and I know with Kara too. We always direct you back into you. We always reflect with questions. When you come out of a session, you're like, what'd you get? It's like, no, 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 no. What did
What
you
did you
receive?
get?
Bingo.
Yeah. What
Because
did
right
you
away in
get?
that, yeah, and
Yeah.
in that moment, this is very valuable because this is how frequent we disengage from ourselves. So even when we get our intuition, we immediately source external. And this is what I point into with trainings, right? When we're learning to really enhance intuition, it's like if you are immediately externalizing to a source, then how are you going to know how to trust yourself? You
You
don't.
won't. You won't. Yeah. And I think that that is the real breakdown of our societal conditioning and like,
Mhm.
what has been instilled upon us because the whole like every system that we see right now also crumbling,
Right.
but like every system, is like I have the answers for you, whether it's like the medical system,
Right.
the healthcare system,
Right.
like the pharmaceuticals, like it's like everybody's creating a problem and then they create the solution so that you need them. And so for me, I'm just not going to subscribe to this like whole pain point thing. I just can't. It feels like manipulation to me. It feels dirty. And I know that both of us are in agreement with Blue Lotus. Like it might take us a while to build this community, and that's okay. Like I would rather do it authentically and from a place of organic intelligence and our frequency, and anchoring in our frequency and our prayer for the collective, like not just Blue Lotus Collective, but the collective of like can we all step out of this suffering loop into liberation, that's going to take us so far. And so, being okay with slow growth and not instant results. And I think that that's going to be a big thing.
And that's the beautiful part, is staying true to yourself through the process, even if it's not giving you what we've been taught
Yeah.
is quotation mark, success
Right.
or
A level of
validation
success.
or
Exactly.
exactly. And I know we've really done a lot of reflection work there. And this is one of the biggest pieces, I leave with this and this call. It's like, where are you coming from within yourself?
Right.
Let's stop they, them. Karen and I had this talk this morning about like, okay, everybody blames the Illuminati. Sure. The reality is, we'll say they, however
Whoever they are.
everybody refers to they differently.
Yeah.
They've done a very successful job
Mm-hmm.
at keeping us in our own power struggle.
Yeah.
We spoke about this earlier, in relation even to music and frequency.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you have to understand within yourself, where are you giving that free will? Where are you giving subconscious permissions?
Right.
Where are you handing away your discernment and your life force?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at
I
what
mean, it's a
cost?
conscious choice. Like that's the thing. It's like we are doing it. Like
Yes,
it's us. It's not
all of
being
us.
done to us. Yeah, we're all doing it. And I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier, but like what are you consuming? What are
Yep.
you choosing to focus on? Where's your mind going? Are you focused on all the conspiracies of the government and the corruption? Like we know it's there. Or are you going to focus on the inner corruption within yourself and bring that into coherence? Yeah.
Smoky. And I think that's a powerful statement, because I always giggle when people are like, this new world order. Hello, this has been operating since the beginning of time. This is the awareness. We're just seeing those dominoes now. So instead of continuing to externalize, it's like, all right, let's come in. Where am I operating from manipulation?
Yeah.
Where am I operating from, my own internal confusion where I don't know how to listen to myself? Where am
Yeah.
I not trusting myself? All of the things.
And we all
When
have it.
we all do. We all do. I actually was, connecting in with one of my, I don't even like using the word clients anymore. Let's just say sisters. And
Okay.
she made a reference to manipulation. And I said to her, I was like, Chris and I are hilarious, because like he'll call me out when I manipulate and vice versa. So I'll say something and he'll be like, nice manipulation. And then it's like, oh shoot, I look in and I'm like, oh fuck, right. I was just using that shadow aspect of myself to get what I want. Right. So it's powerful when we can really look at that. And it's funny because you can laugh. It's like a moment of,
You have to.
whoa, right? Like
Yeah.
I did that. I tried to weasel, myself in with
Yeah.
that shadow part of myself.
Yeah.
And when we can call it out within ourselves, that's how we start to illuminate it.
Exactly.
It
And
doesn't
be
mean
and
it's,
forgive ourselves. I mean, like we said, like we're human, we're on this
yes.
journey. And to me, that's humility, and
Yeah.
like we can't pretend like we have it all figured out. Nobody has it fucking figured out. Nobody. I don't care who you are, because you're here in a human body. So you're gonna be meeting polarity
Yes.
every day. That is the
Yes.
whole point of being on this planet. And so yeah, we all manipulate, we all do things. And to me, it's like the discernment piece comes in where it's
Yes.
like either you catch yourself right after or you catch yourself right before you're about to say something or do something that is to serve yourself, you know?
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
So,
think that's it. It's like that's how we bring the divinity to our human,
right,
because it's like, okay, I'm going to light up this part of myself in the moment. And then
right.
there's an awareness to it next time, like you said. So then you might notice you start to catch yourself
Yeah.
before you act in it, right?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we should close the portal because I hear Mr. Luca and I want to make sure that he's okay.
He's
Um,
like, where's mom? She was sleeping with me.
and she left me.
She's gone.
Um, and what I wanted to say is that we should probably call this like chat BLC or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Um, so we will be doing this once a week. And I
Yes.
think that what we decided today too, that one of the offerings we're going to put in this container is a 3 week workshop
Yep.
slash immersion on how to,
Discernment.
different tools that we have picked up along the way that we have been taught from our teachers along the way on how to really align with discernment and how to, yeah, like follow organic intelligence within your body. So we'll be
And you're
working
going
on
to
that.
find that with everything that we put out, it's always guiding you back to you.
Yes, yes, please. And so we're on an OI revolution now too, organic intelligence rather than AI.
Ooh, OI chats.
OI chats. Okay, we'll figure it out. Fine tuning.
She doesn't like that one.
I don't mind it at all. So this is going to be, just so you know, B, I'm going to put this onto Blue Lotus YouTube, and then there's going to be lots of space underneath for comments. And I think that would be a great way for the community to start like at least interacting with each other until we get our internal forum going, which is coming in the next few months. But
Feels great. Share away and I'll pop it up.
okay.
And we would love to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Please reach out, connect in, let us know how you are feeling within everything we spoke to today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you probably really soon because we talk all the time. So
Talk to you in 2 hours.
basically, bye.
Bye.